Essays on Untouchables and Untouchability Social by Babasaheb Ambedkar. Chapter 1 3F Orthodoxy Done Mad. Alleged barbarous treatment of untouchables, crime of being Mahars. Mr. Keshavji Ranchodji Waghela from Ahmedabad has informed Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, President, Bahishkrit Hitkarani Sabha, as follows. One Bapurao Lakshman and his brother Kaurao have been residents of Ahmedabad during the last 6 years. They used to mix with some people from the Deccan belonging to the Maratha caste. Kaurao's two sons, that is Damu and Lakshman, used to take part in the bhajan parties of the Marathas. The latter, however, recently came to know that the brothers Damu and Lakshman were Mahars by caste, and in order to ascertain this, two Mahars employed in the parcel train between Surat and Ahmedabad were especially called to identify Damu and Lakshman. After it was ascertained that Damu and Lakshman were Mahars, they were called at a bhajan party and at Kalupur, Bhandari Pole at midnight on the 11th instant. Asked as to what caste they belonged to, Damu and Lakshman replied that they were Somavanshis. This reply enraged the Marathas, who freely abused them for having defiled their persons and places. The Mahar brothers were assaulted by the Marathas. One of the brothers had a gold ring on his person. It was forcibly taken away from him and sold for rupees 11. Out of this amount, rupees 6 was paid to the Mahar, who had been called from Surat to identify the brothers. Damu and Lakshman entreated, and Marathas were requested to allow them to return to their homes, but the latter refused to do so unless a fine of rupees 500 was paid. On the Mahar brothers, Bombay Chronicles, 25th February 1938, pleading their inability to pay such a heavy sum, one of the Marathas suggested that the Mahar brothers should be fined only rupees 125. But then one of the Marathas opposed the proposal for fine, saying that they should not be satisfied with fine but should punish the Mahars severely for the crime of concealing their caste. Having decided upon the course, the Mahar brothers were detained, and at about 9 o'clock in the morning they were subjected to barbarous indignities. Their moustaches on the left side and eyebrows on the right were shaved, their bodies besmeared with soot mixed with oil and also with dirt. Garlands made of old shoes were put around their necks, and one of them was asked to hold a broom in his hand, and the other to hold a placard on which it was written that the punishment was meted out to the culprits for venturing to touch high caste people. The Mahar brothers were taken in procession consisting of about 75 people, a drum being beaten in the front. A complaint has been lodged with the police by the said two Mahar brothers. The accused in the statement have admitted that Damu and Lakshman were treated in the alleged manner, but pleaded that the complainants had willingly agreed to undergo the punishment. Obviously, Damu and Lakshman were helpless when they were abused, assaulted, and threatened with severe punishment, and actually subjected to barbarous indignities. This case has caused a great sensation among the people belonging to the so-called untouchable castes, and efforts are being made to give proper legal aid to the complainants. But the rules of this Hindu civilization are so meticulous in regard to untouchability as to leave no possibility for an untouchable to pose as a touchable. Consequently, there exists rules in certain areas where untouchables are required to bear a black thread so as to easily be identifiable and to proclaim by word of mouth that he is an untouchable to prevent a touchable touching him in ignorance and thereby getting himself polluted. In the town of Dwarka in the Bombay Presidency, which is famous as being the shrine of the great Hindu god Krishna, it is a rule that every untouchable, while walking in the streets, has to clap his hands and say post post, so as to proclaim the fact that he is an untouchable and let the touchables beware of him. The end.